You guys hear me in the back? Yes. Is this the pink jacket? There we go, all right. So I have 10 minutes, so I'm going to try to give you a lot of content here. So I'm going to talk about mindset, but Susie wanted me to talk about mindset. I think, Susie, what you talked about is such a perfect lead-in, because I was thinking mindset, morning routines. And to kick off the new year, what a great way to kind of think about being intentional with how you wake up every day. But before we get to morning routines, I want to take a little side journey into nervous systems. So who here would consider themselves to be a type A personality? That's it? I feel like everybody in this room is a type A. If we're doing this, we're going to be type A. So I'm just going to assume everybody raise their hand. And the good thing is, as a type A, it drives you to be successful. It drives you to make those calls. It drives you to be successful in this business. But the flip side of that is that many of us, especially nowadays, we're so distracted, we don't know how to turn it off. We don't know how to relax. And I was definitely in that camp. I had my kind of awakening 17 years ago, and I'm not going to get into that necessarily here, but for the last 17 years, I've been trying to figure out, well, I was eating well in my 20s. I was, sleeping not so great, so that was one thing that I had to figure out. But you can look at your sleep, you can look at your diet, you can look at your relationships, you can look at your exercise, and you can do all those things. You can be biologically healthy, you can go to the doctor and get blood tests and everything looks great, but something's missing, something's not right. And what that is hard to say. Now we have a lot more data and science around it, but it's your nervous system. So I want to talk about that a little bit, and then I'm going to go back into morning routines, because as you think about starting your day, you can think about how am I addressing my nervous system. So there's a quick primer on the nervous system. And actually, so I would say this, the resilience that we all want to have in life is not driven by strength. It's driven by adaptability. It's how quickly can you accelerate and decelerate. When you're on that call and the client's bitching at you for something you didn't do, you feel the tension, you feel the stress. How can you stay calm in that moment? There's breath work, there's different things that you can do, right? So how can you accelerate and decelerate your nervous system? So when you think about nervous system, you're talking about the parasympathetic state. That's the rest and digest. How many of you, by the way, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too, sit down and eat, and you're not even paying attention to what you're eating. You're reviewing a contract, you're looking at Twitter, you're reading a book, you're doing anything but focus on what you're eating. You're not actually down-regulating your nervous system. You're eating and you're digesting in a state that you shouldn't be digesting in. I've been on wellness retreats and spiritual retreats and meditation retreats and all this kind of stuff. You eat in silence. Like, the whole point is to eat in silence, to be aware of what you're doing. So the intentionality is one word that I want to hopefully have you all take away from today. So the parasympathetic state is when you are resting and digesting, when you're relaxed. The sympathetic state, by comparison, is the fight or flight. And way too many of us spend way too much time in the sympathetic state, and we have moments where we feel relaxed, where we feel like, really, truly relaxed, but we can't get away. Every day, 7 days a week, the deal doesn't stop, even on Christmas or Hanukkah or any other vacation, right, or holiday. So what I want you all to kind of take away from this talk now is think about how you are starting your day. And a quick story. So, and I've kind of gone off on this side, which is, Tibetan monks. For decades, scientists have been studying Tibetan monks. And they put, synapses and everything on their head, and they brain scan. And these guys and women are in the gamma state. They have different brain waves that they measure. Delta state is when you're stressed. Gamma waves are when you are relaxed. And these Tibetan monks know how to downregulate their metabolic state. They know how to take their heart rate down. They know how to slow their breath. They know how to do these things. They've been doing it for centuries, millennia, right? And scientists have always been fascinated about how do they do this. And on the other side, you have, during the Cold War, you had the Russian cosmonauts and Russian scientists that were trying to figure out, well, how do we detect the flexibility in the metabolic state, in the nervous system of these cosmonauts, because they're under extreme stress, before visible symptoms appear outwardly, right? You got to figure this out. So they developed something called heart rate variability, HRV. So there's a way. So HRV is basically the modern measurement of how adaptable your nervous system, how flexible your nervous system is. So I've actually I don't know my HRV. I don't monitor when I exercise. I don't monitor anything. I've always gone in the direction of, I want to feel intuitively connected to my deeper self and see how I'm feeling, because that's how I show up in the world. And to me, I always felt like if I'm measuring things, I'm just going to stress out more. I don't want to be stressed out about how poorly I slept last night, right? So, but there's two different ways to do it, right? And some of you may be interested in, and some of you may already be having Oura rings that you're wearing and figuring out what is your HRV. And obviously, and as you get older, HRV lowers. You want it to go back up. You want your HRV to be going up. And it's not just one thing. It's not just a mindfulness practice, or not just an exercise regimen, or not just your relationships with people around you, or not just one thing. It's actually all of these things in totality. And that's the quest that I've been on to figure out how to live a better life. How do I persist in this business and not have a heart attack when I'm in my mid-50s because I'm stressed out all the effing time, right? And so I've been on this journey for a long time. It wasn't because I was trying to become more spiritual or anything like that. It was because I was trying to sleep through the night. So that's how my quest, my journey started. Because I'm an anxious person. I'm type A. I'm like, how do I slow it down? And I wasn't aware of what I was aware of, what I was not aware of at the time. So if we go back to morning routines, now that I've kind of done a little bit of a dive into metabolic states and nervous system, when you wake up in the morning, who here wakes up and has some horrible alarm clock, clanging, So what are you doing to your nervous system the first thing when you wake up in the morning? It's shocking. You're shocked. You're like, oh, like jolting yourself, literally jolting yourself. And the rest of the day, you are staying here unless you work on ways to bring it down. And so, how I start my day, you guys are going to think I'm crazy. I didn't always do this, but this is where I am today. I don't know where I'll be a year from now, but I spend an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning in complete stillness. And so it's a combination of breath work, meditation, qigong, sauna, no phone. Like there's no podcast, there's no phone. I'm not scrolling, Bitcoin prices. I'm not doing any of this stuff. I want to. The first thing I think about in the morning is what's the price of Bitcoin today? That's like my first thought. But my alarm clock, it gently starts to light up over 10 minutes, and then when the alarm does go off, if I'm not already awake, then it's birds chirping, right? And so it's like, I don't know if maybe you have that alarm clock, but it's great because I wake up relaxed. And then the next thing I do is I go into gratitude. I'm not naturally thinking about what I'm grateful for, but I've trained myself to do it. Again, it goes to intentionality. I'm not going to go through my whole morning routine, but I just want to give you a taste of from the moment you open your eyes and take your first breath. There's a Ram Dass story, and I don't know if any of you know Ram Dass. He's a really interesting guy. So he was in a meditation retreat, and he was there for 40 days, and he went to the meditation guy and said, man, I think I'm locked in. I get it. He's like, when you heard that bird chirp this morning, or when you woke up this morning, was it on a rising breath or a descending breath? And he's like, shit, I don't know. So there's always a way to go deeper, right? And I think the point that I'm trying to come across to you all is habits. As you create these habits with intention, don't do it all at one time. I didn't start off with my morning routine, which many of you would think is kind of crazy, but it's intentional. And I'm taking care of my body, my mind, and my spirit, because I know that it's not just one thing that's going to prevent me from having a heart attack when I'm in my 50s or whatever, 60s, because I'm stressed out. It's all of these things. So look at all these things in totality: your body, your mind, and your spirit. And that's an individual decision. Like my wife journals. I don't journal. I love to write. I started writing on Substack this summer, but I'm not a journalist. So that's okay. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm addressing the totality of who I am in ways that work for me, and in ways that I can realize, okay, like a couple days ago, I was a little stressed out. I was like, oh, I'm in tune with the stress. What can I do? I went into some breathing, and it took 10 minutes to do some breathing and a quick meditation during the workday, and I came back into the workday, and I was replenished. I was ready to go. And it's hard because, we can go all day long, and always be on our phones, and always be scrolling, and always have texts coming in. So again, it's living with intentionality, and I think the best way to do it is to start in the morning and figure out, okay, what is the very first thing that I'm doing in the morning? What is the next thing that I'm doing in the morning? And really try to focus on being in the parasympathetic state, because you're going to be in the sympathetic state the rest of the day, and maybe when you eat, get back into the parasympathetic state. Take some breaths. Be grateful for the food that's in front of you. Think about, how did this food get to my plate? Or this container? Or whatever, or this bar, sometimes when you're on the road. How did this happen? It's not just magic. People did this, plants did this, the sun. I know this sounds a little bit esoteric, but as you start zooming out from me and my life and my deals and my car that I'm in and my table and and I have to remind myself, because I'm naturally thinking about me a lot, right? So I have to remind myself, no, let me take some deep breaths, let me be gratitude for the food. And I've even started, kind of blessing the water as one of my latest hacks in the morning, because when I drink water, instead of just chugging the glass of water, I'm like, I love this water. I know this sounds kind of weird. I love this water. I'm thankful for this water nourishing me. I'm thankful. And as I'm drinking the water, it's a different experience. Water is not just water. Water, and there's scientific studies about this. You guys probably know this. When they've done blessings of people that have less water for 10 days, or less plants, it changes. Like there's energy flow between us right now. We just can't see it. We're only aware of our five senses. We are multi-sensory beings, and when we can operate in this business, to the point that Susie said, that's our brand. Like when we walk into a listing presentation, somebody can sense that we are confident, that we are calm, that we are relaxed, and the five other people that they interviewed are frenetic, and we know who we're talking about in some cases, right? Like they're just transactional. Like they sold this, and they sold this, and they sold this, and they don't care. They just, this listing appointment is just a number. Whereas for us, this is a relationship. This is a way to express ourselves and be seen, and to see the others in that house, and to understand how they're living, and what the energy is. And actually, you can tell sometimes the dense energy, like, man, there's some shit going on here, right? There's some stuff going on here that I feel, right? And so that's a secret weapon, and that's what Susie's talking about. That's our brand. So I'm probably at time, but again, intentionality, how are you addressing your body, your mind, and your spirit first thing in the morning? If you don't have time, wake up earlier. Go to bed earlier, right? These are decisions that start the night before, as far as drinking and a glass of wine and the next episode of whatever you're watching. Think about these things, because how you wake up the next day, and then you're just on this perpetual cycle of stress and being in a sympathetic state. And my challenge to you is, how do you get a little bit lower every day? How do you start your day in a parasympathetic state? Set yourself up for success and for enjoyment of life, because you know what? Life happens fast. We had, somebody, a successful broker who passed away in this office last year, and it wasn't expected, and it just happened fast, and it's like, well, okay, so that's it, And many of us look around, we're like, I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, how am I 47 years old now? Like, I was telling somebody the other day, I'm 37. I was like, no, hold on, I'm 47. I have to remind myself, like, I had my son when I was 37. I was like, it just goes by. And I'm sure this happens to some of you, right? So it's like, it's crazy, and we know it. So the point is, how do we live it more truthfully every day? So, thank you.
Relax, Christina.